Okay, everyone, welcome, welcome. We are going to chat a little bit about directorship tonight, and I'm going to share with you guys some information about what you can earn and get as a director, and then I will open it up for questions and answer some questions that everybody has. So, first of all, we you might be wondering, why would I want to be a director? And I'll kind of share a little bit more with you about some of the perks. So when you promote to director, you get lots of different perks. And first of all, of course, is the money. A brand new director with just 5 people active on their team, on average, earns at least $200 to $300 more a month. That's the minimum. Of course, that depends on how much you sell, how much your team sells, but minimum, that is what you make, between $200 and $300 more a month as a director. You also get, when you promote, you get PC dollars. So you can actually earn 250 Pampered Chef dollars when you promote. Of course, we have National Conference coming up in July, and so I would encourage anyone to save PC dollars to pay for their registration. Or you can get yourself a nice product or save it for paperwork. That's the nice thing about Pampered Chef dollars, is you can spend them any of the 3 different ways: conference registration, free products, or paperwork and supplies. So you get to choose how you spend those, but 250 is what you get when you promote. You also have the chance of getting the new spring or fall product line. So when you submit $12.50 in sales, 3 months before you promote, so you hit 1250, at least 1250 3 months before you promote, you get the new product line. So if we're in the fall season, you would get the new fall products, including the new cooking blender. When we are in the spring season, it would be the new spring products. So directors get to earn all of the products for free, and as long as you hit that sales requirement, those will ship to you. That's pretty awesome. You also get an override, and this is kind of going into a little bit more on the money. You get an override on what you make and an override on what your team makes, and that's how you make more money. It's 3% more on what your team makes and 3% on what you sell. You also get a $10 per active consultant bonus in your check, and you can use that for incentives for your team. You can use that, it's just supposed to be meant for any expenses occurred as a director. And so that's pretty fun too. Another thing is you get lower trip points for the incentives. So when you promote to director, you actually, I think this year it was 4,000 less trip points that you had to earn to go to Disney World. So it's slightly different every year, but usually around that amount, 4,000 less for all of the trip points. What I have tend to notice is people that promote to director, they usually will earn a trip every year. People that promote to director a lot of times will be on track for different various awards and stuff throughout the year. So a lot of times when you're aligning your goals with promoting to director, a lot of times they will align with something else too, like excellence awards or the trip as well. So lower trip points is for sure a plus. Those are the main benefits. There's a couple other minor ones and stuff, like you get what's called a professional development award, which means you could go take a class or something and get reimbursed for it, which is nice. So there's some minor things like that, but those are the big ones: trip points, PC dollars, more money, free products, that kind of stuff is what people are usually most excited about. So that's kind of the perks of being a director. Of course, when you're a fast track director, you get a couple of additional bonuses. So when you fast track, which is promoting within your 90-day date, and whatever your 90-day date is, it's promoting that month. So for instance, if your 90-day date is February 5th, as long as you promote in February, that's deemed in your 90 days. If your promotion date is January 28th, you would need to promote within January to get your $500 cash bonus. When you hit your director stats for the next 3 months after you promote, so let's say you promote February 1st, you would hit your director stats March, April, and May. then you would also get another $500 cash bonus added to your check for a total of $1,000 when you're a fast track director. So pretty awesome. There was also the potential to earn a $1,000 cash bonus for promoting to advanced director, and then you get another 1,000 when you maintain advanced directorship for the next 3 months following. So it's a total of $3,000 in cash bonuses, and it's pretty exciting. Like, it's money on the table there for the taking. And Chris and I and Julie and Sarah Birchfield and everyone else on the team that's a director, Susanna Nelson, Sarah and Heine, all of us are ready and willing to help you guys if you want to earn a promotion. What I like about Pampered Chef is they allow anyone to promote. There's no limits, and you can earn a promotion and a pay raise in your very first month if you want to. So you can do it as quickly or as slowly as you want, which is pretty awesome. So I know one of the most common questions is, what does it take to promote to director? And there are 3 requirements to promote to director. First of all, you need to have 750 in personal sales yourself. So you need to have at least, I would say, 4 shows booked a month to hit that 750 in personal sales. The next requirement is you have 5 active team members. To be active, that's kind of like our green by 15 drawing. To be active, you need to turn in 150 in sales for the month. So you need 5 team members to turn in at least 150 in sales each to promote. The third requirement is a team sale requirement, which means your sales along with all of your team sales are going towards this requirement. And it's 5,000 in team sales. Now, most of the time, directors have a pretty strong personal business themselves. And so a lot of times they're doing half or more of the team sales themselves. And a lot of times when we get new consultants started, they'll be anywhere within 500 to 1,250 in their first month. And so all of that kind of adds up really quickly and helps you hit your 5,000 in team sale requirement. You guys might remember last month, David Berger sold 4,600 himself. So if he gets a couple team members and, has great sales every month, he'll promote. So 5,000 might sound like a lot, but when 6 people are working on it together, that's on average, what would that be? Let's see, 700-800 a piece. So it's not actually, it's not too difficult to hit the 5,000 when everybody's working on it together. So that is what directorship entails. I would love right now to open it up for questions and have you guys ask any questions you have about directorship, and I can kind of address those as they get asked. So if you have a question, take yourself off of mute, ask your question, and then we'll just put everybody back on mute. Unless you have a really quiet background, that's fine, just to make sure we keep the line clear for anyone else that would like to watch the replay. So anybody have any questions on directorship, or how to any of the benefits that I talked about, how to earn it, anything like that? We're open to answer any questions.
Do the directors have a monthly meeting to talk to each other and get ideas and stuff?
Good question, Susan. So I'll address that in 2 different ways. First of all, Pampered Chef Home Office actually provides what they call a leader call once a month. And it's right usually at the beginning of the month. We had ours, I want to say last Wednesday, so it was around the 5th or 6th. And I think it was the 6th because our team meeting was the 5th. But it's great because it's about an hour. They'll go over anything exciting going on with Pampered Chef. So if they have any new sales managers, they'll welcome them. If someone left the company, they'll let us know. They also share, sales and recruiting from the previous month with us, which in October we killed it, like had record-breaking months. It was the highest month for recruiting in the history of Pampered Chef. Like, it was pretty exciting. So they share stuff like that with us, and then they end the call with a action plan. And the action plan includes recruiting, sales, booking goals. They give us tips on how to improve that with our team, and they go through on how to make a plan of what you would like to work on and do for that month with your personal team. For instance, if your team needs bookings, then they'll give you some, great opportunity to get training for how to share, how to book with your team. If your team needs sales, you can kind of focus on that. But they help you kind of put an action plan together on what your team personally needs that month. And so that's the leader call that home office does. Our personal team SOAR, has a director call that we have once a month, and we actually need to set ours up for this month because we have so many new directors out of state. Before now, we were all in the same state, so we'd actually meet for lunch once a month. And but now we're going to do a Zoom director call with our director team, and probably do something really similar. We'll talk about what we'll do for incentives for the team moving forward. We'll talk about any tips or anything that anybody needs help with, that kind of stuff would be what we discuss on our director call to help everyone, with managing a new team. So that's kind of what we do, and that's what home office does. Of course, there's a whole section that opens up to you on Consultants Corner when you're a director for training and ways to help guide your team and help them have a super strong business. So they have that as well. So stuff like that. That's kind of what they have in place to help us as directors. Lots of training options and stuff on Consultants Corner that you can research, look into, and then of course then do with your team. So good question, Susan.
Kelly, you might.
Yeah, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, you might mention that you don't have to train your recruits right away. I mean, that we do that for them.
Yeah, so a lot of times when people are brand new and they're thinking about fast tracking, one of their most common questions is, how can I train new people when I don't even know what I'm doing myself yet, right? I feel like I still, am new myself. I'm still learning everything. We totally understand. When you are brand new, we actually want you just concentrating on building a strong business yourself through bookings and strong sales and recruits. And so adding new team members. So what we do is when you're brand new, we want you to have all the benefits of recruiting, but not have to do any of the training aspect of it. So, Chris, Julie, Sarah, myself, Susanna's a new fast track director, so I'm sure Sarah is helping her and Saren with their team training so far, because they just promoted in the last couple months. So we actually train new consultants for our team members. And that way it's really effective because it helps in two ways. Number one, it allows the new recruiter to concentrate on their own business and get it super strong. And number two, we can make sure that the new consultants are getting off to a really good start from someone that is completely familiar and a strong, has a strong business themselves. And so, so it really is effective to do it that way. And that's kind of what we provide for our team members. So you get all the benefits of having a team member, but you don't necessarily have to do any of the training when you're brand new. Now, I have had brand new consultants want to be included in their team members training calls, and I am happy to include you in that if that's something you're interested in doing, but it's not necessary. Usually when someone promotes to director, at that point we usually start talking about training and what that includes, and we do a series of them listening to training alongside with me training their new team members. So they're kind of listening alongside, and that a lot of times is a new perspective, when you're listening to it from a training standpoint versus from the new consultant standpoint. So yeah, great tip.
I don't know what that means.
Great question, Chris. Anybody have any?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say that, the only difference between being, promoting or recruiting and not recruiting is just asking. You cannot believe how easy it is when you just ask, because people are, I think, just waiting out there to be asked.
They are. I love the phrase, and I've heard this for years with Pampered Chef. At every party you do, there is a recruit. There is a recruit lead at every party. But is there a recruiter? And I've heard lots of stories throughout the years at conference and stuff like that. People literally going to like 2 and 3 shows and thinking that they wanted to sign up and get started, and the consultant walks right past them and asks maybe this bubbly, outgoing personality instead. And in fact, I think if I'm remembering the right person, one of the people that shared her story was Marna Ross, and she was a real big introvert, and she's a national executive director. That's the highest level in the company now. And she said that that she went to a couple shows and no one asked her, and then finally one of the consultants did at I think it was like her third or fourth party. So I don't ever want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that looks, someone over or forgets to ask people. So I really, throw it out there to every host that does a show with me. I throw it out there to guests. I talk about it at my shows. All of that is included, and that, helps me onboard, or you share the love with, anywhere from 2 to 4 people a month is what I try and do, share the business with that many people. And so let's talk. I mean, we can talk about recruiting too, like how you do that. So we have a few more minutes and I'll kind of end with that. But before I do, does anybody have any other questions on directorship before I end with a little, mini recruiting session on how to get recruits? Anybody have any more questions on directorship in general? I tried to go over the main ones and include those, like how much money can you make, what does it take, stuff like that. If you guys think of any, absolutely reach out, and we're happy to answer any questions. So with virtual parties in particular, I try to include lots of different recruiting info. And I'll have it sporadically throughout the show, like, hey, if you'd like to earn extra money, like I am, I would love to help you get started, with your own Pampered Chef business. We also have a couple of recruiting posts. We have the lightning round where they get to ask, questions about our business and we answer them to generate interest. We have our intro where we talk about our how we got started with Pampered Chef. That's actually in particular, the intention is to get people interested in the business by how much money we can make and some different reasons that we personally got started. And then we also have the apron post where they can pick which apron fits them. And I think there's 4 choices on there, part-time, virtual, full-time, or can't remember the other one, but there's 4 different choices of aprons they can choose. And all of that is generated to, to create interest in the business. And then in addition to that, I always, anybody that asks questions, anyone that posts in any of those posts, I follow up with, hey, I know you asked a couple questions about the business. I would love to share some more information with you. Is that something that, have you ever thought about doing something like this before? Or is that something you ever thought about before? And a lot of times the guests will say, oh, I was just playing the games. And I'm like, hey, no problem. Just keep it in mind. It's a great way to earn some extra money. Virtually is, virtual shows are so flexible. And if you know anybody also that could use some extra money, I always reward for referrals. So that's kind of how I'll answer that if they say they're not interested. A lot of times people have said that they've thought about it before, that yeah, I'm thinking about it, or yeah, I'm kind of toying with the idea, but I have a couple questions. And what that does is it opens up the conversation where you can, chat a little bit more with them about the business and open up that 2-way conversation going. And so so that's kind of what I personally do. I also mention it to my host. It's in the host coaching system, where we mention it twice in the host coaching system. I include an opportunity brochure in my host packets to also generate that interest with my host. I fluff her feathers during the show, which means, oh my gosh, Chris, you were such an amazing host. I can't believe those creative posts that you came up with on your own and really got, the guests involved. That's exactly what I do as a consultant. You'd really be great at this, and stuff like that. So I fluff her feathers during the show. That's a lot of what I do personally with recruiting in each one of my parties to generate that interest. And then there's a couple key tips. Number 1, I always say, with sharing the love of the business with other people, the fortunes in the follow-up. If someone tells you that right now is not a good time, but they'd love to revisit it at a different month, I write that down in my notebook and I make sure to follow up with them in that month, or follow up with them periodically every couple of months, depending on the person and how often they want you to contact them or when they want the follow-up. I've had recruits sign a couple, months after the initial contact, or sometimes years after the initial contact. And that's, you know, that's what I do. I just do really good follow-up, especially with the business, because I love sharing the business with other people. It's one of my favorite parts. And so, so when I do that, consistently, of course, it helps other people and helps them get started in a business that they'll love, but it also helps my, my own, you know, commission check that I provide, you know, income for my family as well. So, so that's a little bit of what I do in regards to recruiting and sharing that love of the business with other people. And let's see, there was one other thought that came right when I was talking about that. Can't remember off the top of my head, but anyway, that is kind of what I do in regards to recruiting. And then on our team, we usually have a what we call an opportunity event once a month, where people can join the opportunity event and find out more about the business. If you have a recruit lead, I would encourage you to start a 3-way chat with me, you and your lead, or Chris, you and your lead, and we're happy to answer any questions that they have about the business in like a group chat setting. You can also send screenshots if people are asking questions about the business and you're not sure what to answer. You can take a screenshot of the message, send it to us, and we're happy to help, you know, answer any questions. In fact, Mary Jo Ostreicher on the team did that last month, and that's how we signed her recruit. Is she kept sending me a screenshot. Okay, what do I say next? And then I tell her, and then she'd send it. Okay, this is what she replied back. What do I say next? And then I'd send it to her, and then she'd send it with her copy and paste it into her conversation with her potential recruit. And that's how we got her recruit signed last month, was through the group call and the group setting. So, or group message setting. So, so hopefully that is helpful. Does anybody else, before we kind of, I want to be really prompt and end right at 30 minutes past the hour, but does anybody else have any questions about directorship? I'm glad I was so thorough. Okay, so if you guys think of anything, definitely let us know. If you are interested in, you know, promoting, let us know too, because we will provide a little bit of extra training and stuff for you, and you know, help you earn that $500 cash bonus in your first 90 days. So with Fast Track. And then if you're not still in Fast Track, we'd still love to help you promote. It's still an amazing opportunity to earn some extra money, and we'd love to help you too. So so definitely let us know if you're interested, and if you have any questions, we'd be happy to talk with you, you know, more about it if you think of a question or something tonight. So I hope all of you guys have a great night, and I'm going to go ahead and end the call and end the recording, and we will talk soon. And let us know if it's something you want to go for, and we'll start, you know, individual calls to help you earn that. Okay? Good luck, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.